Hello, everyone. Welcome to Lunch for the Soul. This is that time of the week. I love connecting with you all, bringing you stories of faith, of passion about just being alive and doing the very best we can together. Grab a drink, your lunch, whatever you want. Sit back. Let's have a little chat. I want to bring you into the chat today. So if you have comments, I want to make sure you get to be a part of this. Do I ever have a special guest to show and to introduce you today? Oh my goodness. I got to meet this lovely lady about a year ago, and she was going through just an incredibly crazy time of doing everything she could to make sure her precious son Imani had all the right health care he needed. She lives in Mississippi, but came all the way to Houston to get treatment for her little boy at Children's Memorial Hermann Hospital. It's quite a story to share. We're going to go back down memory lane. We're going to introduce you to little Imani and see how he's doing today. But for now, please welcome Amira. Hello. I'm so happy to see you.
Hi, thank you. Thank you so
Amira Carson, everybody, mom extraordinaire. Oh, I'm so happy to catch up with you. And you use faith, which is what your little boy's name means, in your daily life, don't you?
Oh, I don't really know where to start. I just remember when I was trying to find his name when I was pregnant with him, I didn't know. You guys are gonna hear him in the background running and playing and laughing.
Oh, that's good. We like to hear that. So don't you even think about that. That'll be a fun thing for us to hear.
Yeah, I saw his name. I wanted him to have like an African type name,
Hmm.
and I saw that it meant faith, and I was just like, "Oh, this is great." I had no idea what I was setting myself up for.
Hmm.
Um, it was an incredible journey. Looking back on it, I don't regret anything. But just going through it was just
Yeah.
very difficult. But in those moments, I remember, you don't really just have time to kind of like sit. It's
Hmm.
always, okay, what's next?
Hmm.
Always just going to the next, pushing to the next milestone and pushing to the next, thing that we can conquer to move
Right.
forward.
Let's go down memory lane. So I want to catch everybody up to date with, first of all, what we're talking about and what happened. So your baby was born. Everything seemed to be great. He was born within a couple of weeks. This is what happened. I have some video I want to share with everybody so they can get a good idea, and then we'll reflect on that.
You can see for yourself what those trouble breaths look like. Amira rushed her baby to the emergency room.
His heart rate just randomly spikes to 250, somewhere between the 250, 260 range. And they started to say, okay, he's trying to tell us something. And they called the cardiology team down. And that's when I found out that he had about 5 different heart defects.
Imani was born with a very unusual but common heart defect that we deal with called congenitally corrected transposition of the great arteries. It's a mouthful. And basically it means that all of the different components of the heart are there, but they're all mixed up. The ventricles are connected to the wrong arteries. The blue blood and the red blood is not where it's supposed to be. The way I explain it to the parents is that it's called scrambled heart syndrome.
Imani needed multiple surgeries to save his life. With such intricate surgeries, it would take the right specialist and team to pull it off. That led Imani's family in Mississippi to bring him all the way to Children's Memorial Hermann Hospital in Houston to rewire his heart.
Can you imagine if you're born with a heart that has all of the correct parts, but they're all mixed up? And what we did is something called a double switch. And the double switch means that the arteries were hooked up backwards. So we took the arteries off and fixed them. That includes moving the delicate coronary arteries, which are like the gas lines to the heart. They're about 1 millimeter each. So we did the arterial switch, and then we restricted the blood flow to his lungs with what's called a pulmonary artery band.
Amira was beyond thankful Dr. Salazar could do this. A huge relief, but her baby's recovery was tough on her.
Just the weaning, coming off the ventilator, breathing on your own, and all the different milestones you have to reach before you, from post-op to getting discharged. That was the most difficult part, just watching him, he was so young.
Then a few months later, another major surgery.
And that's when I took the band off so that he would have a normal connection to the lungs, and we closed the hole inside of the heart. He had a big hole inside the heart. But there was one remaining thing to do because his veins, in addition to the arteries, were hooked up to the heart backwards. We also did something called an atrial switch.
All incredibly complicated. And if that wasn't enough, Imani and his entire family ended up catching COVID-19 and had to be closely monitored. Faith helped them get through all of this. Fitting, since that's the actual meaning of Imani's name.
His whole entire journey has been a testament of my faith and not giving up and just pushing through when things seem like they're just impossible, just to remain faithful.
How thankful are you for your surgeons, your entire medical team in Houston at Memorial Hermann, and all they've done for him to, it sounds like, to save his life and to give him hopefully a normal life?
I mean, at this point, we're pretty much family. Like, we're family, and but that is how we were treated while we were there. And even though the surgeries were 6 months apart, when we came back for his for the next surgery, all of the nurses remembered us. You know, the doctors there, they really made me feel like his survival and his quality of life was their number one priority.
I know what I would do for my own child. I'd give them every possible chance to have a good life, to have a life better than mine, frankly. And so I sensed that commitment and love in Imani's mom. And I just wanted to give him exactly what she wanted to give him.
A healthy life, and that wish has been granted. Imani is doing great and reaching all of the typical milestones for a baby his age.
I love that so much. That doctor is so passionate about you and your family. I love talking to him and knowing that he realized your love and he was going to treat Imani like his own child.
I didn't even know that surgeons spoke with families as I remember his assistant calling Dr. Salazar wants to speak to you. And I was just like, do surgeons call families? I had no idea.
Uh-huh.
So, and when I spoke with him in July, we were actually going to go with another hospital. And his team called, he said, Dr. Salazar wants to speak with you. And he said, there's no one else that can do what I can do for your son. I know that I'm the one that needs to operate on him. I can do it. And I called the other hospital the next day and I said, we're going to go with Hermann Memorial. I was sold. Mm-hmm. And so I knew even when we got there, we were hitting roadblock after roadblock after roadblock after roadblock, especially with us being from Mississippi. And every step of the way, he was there. He was there, hands-on, helping, and just made me feel super confident that, he was going to get us. He was going to give Imani the quality of life that he deserved.
I love seeing our viewers' comments here. Sherry says, God bless this family. Nikisha says, thank God. I will second that. Absolutely. It's so nice to hear. Keep those comments coming. Let's talk a little bit about your motherly instinct and how important it is for every one of us to listen to that gut. You knew something was wrong. You felt it in your heart of hearts, and you stood up on your child's behalf, even when medical tests were looking like everything was okay.
Throughout this process, Melissa, I was afforded something that I know that a lot of families aren't able to access. And that is just having a network and community of people who are health professionals and nurses and doctors. And I remember when Imani was 2 weeks old, I had a friend who's a nurse practitioner. I just sent her a video. I say, I don't like the way Imani's looking. What do you think I need to do? And so every step of the way, I had people there saying, okay, people there to help me do research when I was completely overwhelmed. I had people there to help me, navigate through this. Okay, what are we going to do about I literally had a community of people that said, you're not going to go through this alone. We're going to help you. This is your patient's rights. This is what you have a right to request a second opinion. You have a right to research other hospitals. And I literally, I don't know how I would have been able to go through everything without the community of people that really just wrapped their arms around me and helped me through it all.
Mhm. And I try to think, and I hope that a lot of us here in the Houston area don't take the Texas Medical Center for granted because it's right here in our own backyard. But when you're traveling from out of state, I know that had to be so tough. So you had a good friend who packed up that vehicle and drove you all the way here with you in the back seat with your baby.
Yes, my sister, she's a really good friend about, but I call her my sister. I just remember being like, I cannot wait. We can't wait. His surgery date was scheduled. Everything was fine, but I just felt like we were running out of time. His
Mhm.
breathing just, even with medication, it just didn't look good. And I knew the closest that I could get if we just got an Airbnb and just stay for a few days. I just
Mhm.
want to be, and
Mhm.
we literally got an Airbnb like maybe 4 minutes from the hospital because I just want to be close. If something happens, I have to be close to that medical team there. And I ended up just going to the ER.
Mm. We take a look at these pictures and just see him getting a little bit older, looking a little bit healthier. So you got to bring us up to date with what's going on with him now as he's getting older. And he's so cute.
Imani is just a firecracker. We call him Iron Man. He's literally made of steel. I think like that his new heart is like Iron Man. We literally call him Iron Man, but his personality is showing. He's very, very stubborn, very strong-willed,
Mhm.
but he's very aware. He's very, very aware. He knows what's going on. He can pick up what's going on, and he knows like if mommy come needs a hug, he knows mom needs a kiss. He's really aware of that, and I think that's from us spending so much time together, like us
Mhm.
being in that hospital room, just he and I some nights, and I'm just completely, overwhelmed and just it's so much like he and I spent so much time together. And we bonded so much, and we're very close.
I love that. Look at this. Marva says, he's so cute. That's what I said. I can't stand it. I want to get my hands on him right now. And Mary says, oh, beautiful baby. Okay, so do you think we hear him in the background? Do you think you could talk him into coming over to see us for a second? We can try. Come on, precious Imani. We want to see you up close and personal. And I love it. Look at this. Natasha says that they saved my granddaughter's life 14 years ago at Memorial Hermann. How about that? Boy, that's a testimony right there. Thank you for sharing, Natasha.
Say
What a
hi.
for your family. There's the
Hi.
man. Oh my goodness.
His show was on. Say hi. Who? Say hi. Hi.
What does he like to do in his spare time, Amira?
Eat.
Eat.
Yeah,
He looks
we're
nice and
eating.
healthy. Look at those sweet little cheeks. I bet you just bury your lips and kiss his little face all the time, huh?
I have a million kiss quota that I must meet every day.
Uh-huh. I
Every single day.
believe it. I believe it. He's a busybody. So he likes to eat. Is he going to school? What does he do? Preschool? Is he too young for that? He's
Well,
almost
no,
2, right?
he's at a facility for like kids with special needs.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so he's been there since July and he absolutely loves it. He does get like occupational therapy there and speech there too as well, but he doesn't have a problem talking.
Oh, yeah. Oh, that's great. That is so awesome. What a blessing for him. And our viewers are loving him. Jennifer says, Imani, you're a champ. And
Well,
I'm going
thank
to
you.
agree with that little buddy for sure. I think it really takes a whole lot of people to make something like this happen too. If you have a support team, it makes a world of difference. I think it helps your faith all come into balance as well. And you have had that through your workplace, haven't you?
Yes, um I went into early labor with Imani at 29 weeks and had to be put on bed rest. And I remember like going to my boss and saying, I have to be put on bed rest. And he was just like, okay, do whatever you need to take care of your family. And that's been, you know, how they've helped me throughout Imani getting here, all of the hospital stays, being in the hospital for months. They took care of me every step of the way. So I absolutely love my job. Fahrenheit Creative Group, full service marketing firm out of Jackson, Mississippi. I love the work that we do, which is very important to me, and I just love that how they're really about community, looking out for one another.
That's it's just huge. And I still love the fact that long before you ever knew anything would be going on with your precious baby, that his name was based on faith. Where does that come in your family? Is that something that you grew up with? Is that how did your faith come about where you just have been such a positive force during this? That was one thing your doctor said is you knew your baby was going to be okay. You knew you found the right team. You had faith in them
Yeah.
that they would make your baby okay.
Um, I would say, growing up in a faith-based household, but also throughout the years and developing my own personal relationship and developing and understanding, spirituality and faith. And I've just come to the conclusion that nothing that we go through, nothing that we experience is solely for ourselves, but all to benefit someone else and help someone else. And I really truly feel, looking back, the entire situation that I experienced with Imani was so that I could help other people. There's not enough conversation about patient advocacy and things like that, patients' rights and things like that. And a lot of people don't know, and you don't know because you don't expect to have a baby with 5 different heart defects, so we're not prepared. So having that person, having that community, and building a community of people who are teaching and sharing information about patients and babies and surgeries and things like that.
Sure. I think speaking of surgeries, I really feel like our viewers can learn a lot from you. So you started doing all the research you could. You didn't like what
Absolutely.
doctors told you where you live. You didn't like it in other states, and you kept looking until you found what you felt were the right answers. How did you go about that? That can be overwhelming. You're in crisis. Your baby's life is on the line. You're the mama advocate. You're mama bear here trying to do everything you can to protect that baby. How did you go about doing that and stay sane during all that? How did that research begin?
I literally, like I said, I had a support system. One of my closest friends, um, lives in New York, but her baby was born with a very, very rare brain condition, and her baby had to go through several surgeries. I started to contact people that I knew that had experiences with surgeries and really different complex diseases and things like that. What did you do? What did you start? Like, I just started to pull on people, and they literally unloaded mountains of information on me. Like, I could sit on I literally was in the hospital just googling, researching, and sending it to my sister, and she was like, okay, well, we have this. We would have meetings. You have to consume yourself in everything that's going on so that you know that you're getting the right information. And it takes a lot, but it also takes people who are going to help you and support you through that. And I had that. I really did. I'm so grateful I had that.
It's a huge blessing for someone who doesn't have that feeling of faith or hope, or that tomorrow is going to be brighter. Would you have any words of encouragement for them right now?
I would say that sometimes when we feel like we're in like a very dark pit and we don't even really see the light, um, that sometimes we just have to keep living. It's as easy as
Mhm.
making a conscious decision. Today, I'm gonna make it till tonight.
Mhm.
Because some days get so dark and so cold, and it gets so hard that you just don't really see it. But if you just take it one day at a time, you're gonna look up and you're gonna be able. I never thought I could look back and say that this is behind Imani and I, and here we are. So much has been behind us, and I've learned so much. I've grown so much. I've just learned so much about myself throughout this whole process
Mhm.
that if I can make it through this, I know there's nothing that I can't do or anyone can do. You can definitely do it.
Amira, you are a bright light in this often dark world that can be so sad and dreary. And you just have this light that just shines that to try to take care of your son and those around you. So thank you for being that positive, powerful force in this world. An honor to get to catch up with you. I've thought about you so much the past year, wondering how your baby boy was doing, who's now toddler boy. So I hope you'll stay in touch. Let us know how he's doing. I want to know the next big milestone. I hope you'll reach out and share that with me because you're a big blessing in this world.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you for joining us for Lunch for the Soul. And remember, everybody, you can join us every Wednesday, 12:30 right here to meet incredible people like Amira who can help us all learn how to do the tough times right. Have a beautiful day, everybody.